Here with Photo Booth International. We're going live on multiple platforms right now. We've got about 3 or 4 cameras. I'm sitting here with my man Ryan Salinas.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So yeah, he's on the other side of the mic, as you guys probably know him from the Super Boothers podcast. So me and him are living in the same city, and I told him to come over. Let's do a recording, an interview together. Tell us a little bit more about who you are, where you're from, all the stuff that you've done. You're working with major clients, and so I want to get a little background. And if you guys have any questions, you can send it in or comment on the live streams, or send me an email at josh@photoboothint.com, and I'll have my email pulled up. So if any questions come in, feel free to we'll go ahead and get those answered for you. So let me pull up the questions that we had. So Ryan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for coming by. It's been long overdue.
A little bit. I live on a plane, so it's really hard for me to be in one spot at the same time.
It is, yeah. I saw your schedule, so you got a pretty hectic schedule coming up. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Were you from Dallas? Or?
No, I'm actually from San Antonio. I guess I've lived there pretty much ever since I was a kid, and I moved to Houston. Right around whenever the market kind of took a little turn,
mm-hmm.
and then I had a floral and event company there, and then ended up moving back to San Antonio, and I was working with the arcade group for a little bit, and then I left there, and then I did photo booths in Houston, but whenever I left the arcade group, I ended up going back to photo booths.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when the market took a downturn, that was what, about 2008? 2009?
Yeah,
around that
pretty
time.
much, yeah.
Did you see any, did it affect the business that you were in?
So prior to doing that, so I was doing wedding planning since about 2004 on. Then so from about 2004 to 2008, I was making money like you couldn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, this is being adult. This is fun. There's a lot of money. Yay, let's go to Vegas. I remember, oh my God, I was such a stupid little kid back then.
Yeah.
And, it was an interesting experience because, my grandfather, he would always say that I would never know the value of a dollar. I still don't know the value of a dollar. But back then money was just coming in, and I was like, where's all this money coming from? And then whenever the market kind of took a turn, so I was doing wedding planning back then, and it was rather interesting because I was a luxury product, or a luxury service rather, and whenever that kind of that was the first to go away whenever the market turned. So from there, I was like, well, I was going to do flowers. I had too many friends in the flower industry in San Antonio, where I was living at the time, and I really didn't want to compete with them. And Houston was kind of the next logical move for me. So we ended up moving there and getting started out there, only because I would have put people out of business, I think.
All right. Well, so started in the flower, and so that's kind of where you learned the ropes of the industry and stuff like that. And then you told me a little bit that you did some event production. That was at the same company?
Yeah. So I ended up starting my company in Houston, and I kind of went into that business really knowing nobody. So that's why things like Nace and Ilea were really crucial in me creating those relationships with people, because I went in there knowing nobody. In year one, I think I did 108,000, and then in year 4, I ended up at 1.4 million, and that was just sales. But the really interesting thing about that one was I was knocking on doors at the right time. There was not that many people that were doing what I was doing on the scale that I was doing, so there was actually a couple of people that had these accounts forever, and there was no alternative, and the only reason why people were using this person was because that's who they were using. So I was the new guy. I was new, I was fresh, I had new furniture, I had more, because we sold furniture and linens and lighting, and photo booths came on later, and I was the only one selling new stuff. So I came in at the perfect time where people kind of shifted over and were able to start utilizing me and kind of dump the people.
Nice. So when you moved to Houston, you said you were by yourself. What are some of the action steps that you took to kind of develop the relationships and find the right people to grow your business?
You know, I did a Groupon for flowers back whenever Groupon was one a day, and with that one, we sold $40,000 of Groupons in one single day, and it was a blessing and a curse. We gave away, it was just like essentially a floral credit. Fantastic at the time because I was able to, actually the perfect example was I got a call from someone that said, hey, listen, we don't want your Groupon, but we want you to do this event because we like your stuff.
Nice. Okay.
So that was a really great thing, and they eventually became great friends. It was actually a daughter and her husband, their parents were from India, and they were doing, I guess, a 25th wedding anniversary. And so I will never forget this event. We ended up going to the Omni because that's where they were staying, and I met them there. And back then I would you want me to go, to your office? I'll go to your office. You want me to go coffee shop? Great, let's go. You want to go to dinner? Great, let's go to dinner. Now it's like, well, now you're coming to me. Now I'm not doing that anymore. But it was really cool because we had cocktails. She was like, oh, well, we want to do this. I came up with the idea of doing a cluster of florals. So we did, a tall arrangement of dendrobium orchids. We did a shorter arrangement of roses. We did a medium one of hydrangea. We did another one of, I think we used Mocara orchids, and then we did another one of a little mums, and it was just like a deconstructed version of a regular arrangement, and she just fell in love with it. And it was 7 pieces of glassware per table, and it was 20 tables, so it was, I don't know, what is that, 140 pieces of glass. It was a lot of glassware, and so we did that event, and she was incredibly happy. They gave me $1,000 tip, and I was like, well, all this glassware is yours, where would you like me to load it or send it? And she goes, you just keep it, don't worry about it. And that was such a first of all, I have never gotten another tip after that in Houston, but it was a $1,000 tip for everyone. But no, that completely changed the business because I was able to have an inventory of glassware, and now that got my start. So in a city where I knew what I was doing, I had been doing it for a while, but not on this scale. Whenever the market turned, it was like, okay, now it's the big boys. Now it's now we need to start selling.
Right. So at what point did you incorporate the photo booths?
So we always would joke about how, so our logo was 3 different dots. And it was a flower dot, it was a furniture lighting dot. And we always would joke how every year we would add a different dot to the business. So we actually did some really cool graphic design with our collateral, and I really appreciated that. But we were able to do it was a really cool postcard, and it was a quote, but it was a dots made up of photos. It was really cool. The dot for the photo booth kind of came, I think, 3 years later. And that one I started on Groupon as well.
Nice. So you told me the Groupon story about, so you started the flower on Groupon, and then you did a Groupon later for the photo booth.
Yeah. With that one, it was back when it was one a day, and the interesting thing was we never, we came up with a very basic bare bones package. It didn't include delivery. It just included the photo booth popping out 2 strips. If you wanted customization, if you wanted, delivery outside of a certain area, if you wanted, and Houston is so big, and people in Houston do not mind paying for delivery fees. It is massive. So that's where we were able to make up additional revenue.
And so, what are some of the upsells that you had with the photo booth whenever you had it on Groupon?
We would do memory books. We would do unlimited printing. We would do the customization. It was really bizarre because the stuff that you can do now is nothing compared to what you could do back then. Back then, it was so bare bones.
Yeah. And if you were to start over, would you use Groupon as a mechanism to grow your business?
You know, I don't know. That was just the way how it happened for me, and I don't know if I would change anything. I don't know if, because those relationships that I got from there, that's the thing with Groupon, is you have to do a lot of the crap to get the really good ones.
Right.
I mean, I did a delivery. Gosh, it got me my Cartier client. It got me, and actually, that's the thing is, so Groupon, we delivered something to someone. That person just happened to work for Cartier. That person ended up having us deliver this massive arrangement whenever Cartier would screw up, which is crazy. I mean, they would just literally send $500 worth of flowers to someone because they screwed up like someone's ring or something, whatever. And I mean, we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars of a ring. So we would go deliver this stuff, and that person was in River Oaks, and their next door neighbor said, "Oh, who did that? That's how I got the Barack Obama event." Right. I mean, how does it happen? Like, I wouldn't want to change it any other way. I mean, that's just how it was supposed to happen for me.
So just putting yourself out there, I know there's a famous quote that opportunity is disguised as hard work. And so I know,
or success is whenever opportunity meets preparedness, something like that.
Sounds right. Along the same lines. But yeah, a lot of people pass up on those type of opportunities. It's like, oh, we're not making enough money. It's too, it's too saturated or whatever. But there's still a lot of opportunity out there. We actually did Living Social back early 2013, and I mean, our phones would just be ringing off the hook. Yeah. And so. Tell us about, you said you had 6 phone lines that time. Was that the phone?
Yeah. So that was flowers, actually. So the way how it worked with Groupon was they said that for every 500,000 people in that market, you were supposed to have a phone line for. So we ended up we had a VoIP line at that time, so it was just installing phones to internet is what we were doing, and have each phone as its own little directory or whatever. But we had 6 phones going all at the same time, and I mean, the thing went live. We opened up, I think, at 8:30. I mean, by 9 o'clock we had sold I don't know how much, but it was just absolutely insane. And there's nothing that is around today that can compare to that level of craziness. Like literally overnight, this stuff would happen. A lot of people went out of business because of it. And
too much business,
yeah. People were saying it's kind of like, whenever Walmart comes into a rural area, it destroys there's a little vacuum cleaner person that's been there for 20 years, and the vacuum cleaner aisle in Walmart just knocks the guy out. I mean, it was that kind of thing. Like, you didn't have. There's nothing that exists today that was like the overnight success that you could get from Groupon.
So some of the other questions that I had, did you have a college degree?
I have. Oh, this is hard. What happened?
Yeah, the camera.
Something happened.
Yeah.
I got up to my junior year, and I ended up dropping out because my business got so big.
Oh, so junior in college?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. What were you going after?
Radio, TV, film.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, and a communications degree, which is such a stupid degree now, just because everyone that has an Instagram account thinks they have a communications degree, but it's so completely different.
There's a lot of doctors and advice and health experts out there on Instagram, and everybody's posting it. But I mean, it has helped you with your business.
Oh,
right
sure.
now.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what I really hate about this is my favorite class that I really learned a lot about that I didn't know at the time was business law. Granted, I only went to the first 3 classes because it was at 8 o'clock in the morning, but.
All right, cool. So how have you developed the skills that you have to foster those relationships and
pure dumb luck?
Yeah.
It has been pure dumb luck. Ismail asks me all the time. He's like, "How do you do this?" I was like, "I pick up the phone." Yeah. I wish I could say, "Hey, I went to this store, I bought this package, and then all this magical stuff happened." But it's just I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I don't know if it was right place, right time. I don't know if it was just, what I had to offer. That was another. No, I don't get up in the morning.
You don't? Okay.
No. What I do have is I stay up so late, so I don't. My schedule's a little bit off, and I used to get a lot of crap from people like, oh, like you sleep in, oh,
Right.
whatever. Like, I'm just not apologetic about that anymore.
Right.
Like, I found what works for me, what works for my schedule. So, I mean, I got in late last night. I stayed up. I did, a whole bunch of. I always work at night, just because the phone stops ringing,
Right,
people stop texting, the email stops popping up. I mean, I'm able to just accomplish a lot more in that amount of time.
Yeah. Actually, I'm the same way as well. But yeah, never ending. Oh, you wake up too late. You get to the office too late. That kind of stuff.
No. I don't work for you. I don't. No. I don't have that problem. I think.
Yeah. So
I've learned to not have an issue with that.
Yeah. So I know you posted the other day about sending messages late at night to venues or something like that.
Yeah.
So since you're up late, how do you handle that? If you have to send a message to somebody, do you use any tools like Boomerang or something like that?
What do you mean?
Like how do you you working at night, right?
Yeah.
Let's say if you have to communicate with a client, you just wait till the morning to do that?
No. So I mean, if I get an email that I needed to respond to that day that I didn't, I'll just fire it off. I don't care if it's at 4 a.m.
Okay.
I mean, that's another thing is whenever like you travel so much, it just needs to get done. I don't care what time it gets done.
Right.
So I mean, if they're that's another problem is I really hate it whenever like someone says, oh, can you like have a conference call at 3 p.m. What time zone?
Yeah.
Like tell me. Like I need more than that. So, no, I don't think I really care about that. Just whenever, so long as they have the information for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're coming out with a lot of PDFs now to give back
A little bit.
Information. What led to that?
Truthfully, there are a lot of people that message me. I get about 10 messages every single day from someone. Hey, can you help me with this? Hey, I have a problem with this, or how do I fix this? Or I mean, and it was just easier just to say, here is, I guess, a thing that I've put together that is comprehensive, that is everything that I know. And I also offer people to schedule appointments with me. Right. So if you, for example, the permanent install thing is, I did a blog about it. We did a podcast on it. There's a PDF on it. If you cannot get the information that you need from all that stuff, then schedule an appointment with me. I mean, because we put out a lot of content. I think right now we're, at our 50th episode, and there's just, we've put out a lot of information on there. Yeah. So if you just take the time to listen to that stuff, and then if you have questions, then come to us.
Yeah, so you can find their podcast, Super Boothers podcast, on iTunes and now on Spotify.
Yeah, and we're on Stitcher. And one other thing that I guess Android people use.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can Play, maybe something.
Google Play. That's it. Google Play.
Cool. So permanent install. So a lot of people want that. Obviously, you don't have to maintain it, and you got monthly income coming in.
Well, you still have to maintain it. I mean, you still have to make sure that your client's happy.
You don't have to physically be there.
Sure.
Have an attendant.
Yeah. I mean, you still have to maintain, the relationship and maintain, the graphics. And if new stuff comes out, just say, oh, listen, hey, this just came out. Like, let's do, this for you. I did that with one of my clients whenever the animated overlays came up. And so I was like, well, I just updated it. Like, take a look at my channel. Oh, it's so cool. La la la. So, yeah.
What do you know? What episode that permanent install?
I have no idea. I have no idea. People will message me and say, "Hey, listen, you said this in episode 14 at like timestamp, 8 minutes 30 seconds." I don't know what I said. Please refresh my memory.
All right. So that'll be coming out this Monday.
Sunday.
So check it out. Where can they find it online?
At RyanSalinas.com, and then just click on courses.
Cool. So that's coming out. We have we have a photo booth in there for a permanent install. Right now we have a kiosk in Reunion Tower, and
that's the big ball thing in Dallas.
If you guys didn't know that, so
looks like this.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a permanent install in there. It's making money for us. We log in remotely and check on things, and with the printer that we have, it can do up to 700 prints. So that information will be found in Ryan's PDF. So make sure to check that out. So what's the worst event that you've done where everything's just gone wrong?
Oh, shit.
You did that strip club event? Was that you?
That was actually not that bad of an event. I mean, I did that just purely as a social experiment. That was not the worst event that I've ever done. Are we really getting into this? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So there was one event that really kind of sticks out. I was still doing wedding planning, and this client came in from a referral. This was pre-crash, so they had money to blow. Yeah, gosh, this is really jogging my memory. They did this event. She was cautious about the money she spent, but she had a lot of it, and she was blowing it up. Like, she spent 40 grand on her dress. Like, I mean, it was just insane.
Right.
She hired, but yet she had a barbecue company come in and do her food. So it was very, very, very bizarre. That was one of those weddings where everything that could go wrong went wrong. She expected a lot out of me that was just not in my contract, that was just beyond the scope of what I was providing. You know, she had very specific requests on things that she needed done. Like, she wanted like a flute, she wanted like a trumpet, and she wanted 3 strings. Like, it was like the most random like request to ever have. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, I'm assuming there was like some sort of like reasoning behind it. Anyways, the caterer came in, trashed the kitchen. She didn't want to pay for anyone to come clean it up, so she expected me to clean it up. There was grease everywhere. We had a gobo with her lighting, and the gobo blew a bulb, which wouldn't happen now because now they're all LED. Right. But back then they blew a bulb. The bulbs were like $100, and you had to special order them, and it wasn't like that one. That one happened. Her cake topper I gave to my assistant. My assistant left in her car. Her car got broken into the night before. That was gone. I mean, literally just one thing after the other. There was one problem after the next. And, you know, the next morning, and it came from a referral from a friend. And she did her photo. Actually, her friend was a photographer, and that's how I got it. She was very unhappy with her photos. She thinks she looked ridiculously horrible. The woman was gorgeous. Like, she had blonde hair, blue eyes. I mean, it was just insane. Just that level of stress is something that I do not miss at all. I just don't miss it. I mean, there was one where, never mind the thunderstorm and the flooding. I completely forgot about that one. So yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where just problems.
Right. Well, you got through it.
I did. And actually,
What changes did you make after that event? Did you do any?
Oh, I stayed in bed for a week.
Yeah.
I didn't get that stuff. Used to really get to me.
Right.
Like, I used to really like go through like local magazines. Like, whenever, like, it was actually called Wedding Pages back then, and since then is now The Knot, and sometimes depending on which market you're in has split off and created their own independent publication. But anyways, back then I used to like go through these magazines. You know, it'd come out once a year. I would rip through that thing. Well, who did this event? Well, who is their preferred here? Well, who did these vlogs? Who did this styled photo shoot? Back when styled photo shoots weren't even a thing. Now they're just, I mean, people do it just because it's a Tuesday and they need it for their Instagram. Right. But back then, I would really stress about what other people were doing, and I do not mess with that now.
Yeah, so that's good. You've had your share of of the photo booth market and disasters and stuff like that. So I have some questions here from some of our customers, and if you guys have any questions watching live, send them to my email, josh@photoboothint.com. I'll refresh my email here so I can take a look. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So yeah, the first one I got from Edward. He says, what is your approach when presenting your company to a client? Do you first send an email? Do you go directly to the client sites? Who do you ask for? What do you tell them?
What does he mean by that?
I'm guessing he means maybe a venue or something, or a partner.
I don't. You know, I don't do as much. All my business is pretty much referrals.
Right.
So I just don't. I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
I mean, that's whatever I used to do. I wouldn't. People comment all the time on how, like, oh, I need to send a deck, or they're all about the deck, and I don't care about that. I think that I would much rather go over to someone. It's easier whenever you do an event at that venue. So there's a venue over here where I guess we did this. It was a little Friday wedding. Just went over there, set up a little photo booth. This was 2 years ago, and she was saying how, I was just chit chatting with her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who does the catering? Well, I do, and this is pretty, and do you think they're gonna drink tonight? And just
Right.
you can kind of like tell from the group or whatever, and you just start making the relationship first, and then next thing you know, I was like, oh well, let's go to lunch on Tuesday. And she's like, perfect. I was like, she goes, we can eat here. I'm like, no, because a venue always eats at whatever venue there is. Like their hotel, they can always just sign off on that check. Like, hey, like, no, don't do that. Just let's go off property.
Yeah.
Let's go have some fun, And even if it's, I don't know, Jason's Deli or just something little or whatever, hey, let's go Chipotle. Like, make it a big joke or whatever.
So we're going to Chipotle after this?
Yes, I need to eat. But anyways, no, I would just make the relationship first. Hey, let's go eat after this. And then next thing you know, I got a call that next week, and she goes, hey, listen, we have an open house. The photo booth person that I normally use, I don't really like them. Can you do it?
Right.
Sure.
Exactly. Just for one meal investment.
For sure. Or if you don't like, if you were chit-chatting with them over Sprinkles cupcakes. Oh my God, those cupcakes are so good. Have 6 delivered to her the next week. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed meeting you. Don't sell anything. That's the dumbest thing you can do, is sell something right up front. Don't say, how can you give me money? Say, how can I solve your problem first?
Right. That's good stuff. Yeah.
This is the gospel coming out of here.
Yeah, it is. Listen, I'll be delivering some cupcakes to my clients soon.
Right.
All right, so that was from Edward. So thanks for sending that in, Edward.
Edward.
Shout out. He's in between Austin and San Antonio. He just got his prime photo booth from us.
Oh, sweet.
So next one I got here from Frederica Collins. Hey, Frederica, thanks for tuning in and sending in your question. So what approach do you use to close the deal booking? What workflow items / checklist do you prepare for your event to start from start to finish?
So what I do to close the booking is I do a lot of follow-up emails. So I actually have a PDF on the 7 follow-up emails that I use that I put into my CRM system that are sent automatically that look like they're coming from me. So I don't really do a lot of phone work. What those emails are meant to do is meant to tell the customer, hey, listen, we email.
Right.
I want you to email me.
Right.
We do have, and we actually send out text messages if they agree to that. So if they text, I'll text them back and forth. Yeah, it's fine.
Now, are you texting them from your personal number? Or?
No. I have an app that does that. So it comes from the main line. It's actually a hack. So I had to create my own app to do this. But I did it with Twilio and IFTTT. That's ifthisthenThat.com.
Yeah. And so, what number are you texting from? Like a business line?
No, so it's a Twilio number.
Okay.
So that Twilio number is hooked into our photo booths as well. You can hook it in with like Darkroom or whatever, or SnapPic or any of those, and then that number, whenever they text it, it goes to me, and then I have a little applet that I designed that I can type in their number and type in my response.
Nice.
So I can go back and forth. It's a long way around it, but if they call that Twilio number, it goes to the main line.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's usually the problem that I've run into, where it's like you get these numbers and you're texting, and then they call it, and then rerouting the whole thing.
Yeah.
So the app that we use for our phone system is called DialPad. So you guys, they have a free they have a free version and a paid version. So definitely check that out. It does support texting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I use Ring Central, and I think it supports texting as well.
It does, yeah. Okay. I've tried Ring Central. I don't know, I didn't like it.
I've had Ring Central since the very beginning, like since actually Groupon days. So I don't know. I think that's why I'm a little like partial to it, just because like it helped me like get through
those calls came
through.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's all that I had as far as my questions. Any last minute tips for people that are starting? Or,
it's easy to get discouraged whenever you are just starting out a photo booth business. I know that you just kind of think of, well, what can I do to, get business or whatever. I've never done Google AdWords. If you have the money to blow, Google AdWords is the way to go.
Not blow, it's an investment.
Sure.
Yeah. In the beginning, it may be a blow.
No, in the beginning, you're blowing it. I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
that's the thing is you kind of have to. I've always been told if you don't have $1,000 a month to spend on Google AdWords, just don't even bother with it. I mean, you're not going to do anything with $20.
Yeah, not 20, but
no,
definitely not. I don't need 1,000 at least.
Yeah. I don't know, but anyways, but that's just kind of what it's been told to me. But it's easy to get discouraged whenever you are starting out a photo booth business, and where are these clients going to come from, and am I going to quit my job, and what about health insurance? Like there's just a lot of other things that come around it. One thing that I really have learned is my thing has always been just to set the relationship with the customer. I would much rather spend an hour or two with someone that can give me recurring revenue versus someone that is only going to use me for their one event. So I'm obviously going to put the time into planners and agencies and
right, okay, gotcha. Partners,
catering,
allies,
hotels and that kind of. That's always been my thing. It's really hard to get started and hard to get out there. And I would reach out to local organizations like MPI and NACE and ILEA, and those things are kind of the things that really helped me in the very beginning. The truth is a lot of them are cliquey, and that's just kind of how it is. That's kind of, I think, how any industry is. You go, to a meeting, if you have something, just say, hey, listen, I have something really cool. Show off your best work. These people have seen it all. Don't go there and do, this photo booth that prints out 2 strips. Can you believe that? No. You need to do something a little bit cooler because these people have seen it all. So whenever you have something like that, obviously show it off, and that's the way that I think I've started, is really like creating the relationship first.
All right, so yeah, guys, you heard that, and it is intimidating. I mean, you see Ryan, you're like, yeah, he got on Groupon, and I'll never be able to do that. Just start.
It's different. It's different now. It's different now, and back then it was the glory days, but now not so much.
But there's still a lot of opportunity out there.
Oh,
but
for
you do
sure.
have to put in more work to get it. It's not just picking up the phone call and getting listed on Groupon.
No, not at all.
So, but yeah, well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thanks guys for tuning in. This is Josh with Photo Booth International. Subscribe to us on YouTube, pbitv.com. Check out the Super Boothers podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play.
And follow me on Instagram.
Follow me on Instagram. Just do everything on every platform. You'll find us. You'll see us on there. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.